Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys doing well. We're joined today with Matt Heafy of Trivium. And how are you doing today, dude?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, yeah, sorry. You were just talking about jiu-jitsu and ears. Continue your code.
Yes,
Continue.
yes. You're like, all you can see is the ear. I was like, yeah, my gigantic ears. And you didn't say that. I said that because I've always, my entire life, I had giant ears and I was always very self-conscious about them. I used to sleep on on like the sides, thinking that they'd flatten, but of
Really?
course that wouldn't work. Yeah, I remember being a kid. I'd lay on the side, just like, all right, maybe it'll flatten out. It never did. And then finally, I'm in a sport where like someone sees messed up ears. They're like, yeah, man, that guy trains.
Dude,
It doesn't say if they're good or bad, but it says that they train.
dude, I know we got it. You keep you hit me up and you told me to come join you do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I love how you
Yes.
sell it because how you sold it was like it's the best thing ever, super fun. Just like watch all of your fingers and like they might break constantly, but like dude, super fun. Like don't worry if you can't play guitar after. Dude, yeah, Jesus.
It sucks. Yeah, but I'd make sure I'd have you set up for success. Like when I'd do the proper tape and the gloves. But yeah, this sucks. This sucks.
Is it how much does it actually hinder guitar playing? A decent amount?
It's weird because if you see how much it bends, like that's not where your middle finger normally goes. But I've
Right.
been trying to find the positivity in it. So I've been trying to find like, all right, well maybe I could do things other people can't.
Right.
But the most I could do is like a trill. That's it. Like a half step trill.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. But it is super fun as long as you watch your fingers and your throat if you're a singer.
Is why I love how you just keep selling it even more. It's
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's like Nick, dude,
Yeah,
trust
I'm
me.
a bad. Well,
Super
I think
fun.
I'm very like the more I get into it, the more or the longer it's been, the more of an accurate salesman I am. I'm like, I'll have people that want to sign up or like fans or friends. And one of my good friends, he works for our charity foundations that my wife and I have, and he wanted to start. And he's like, man, these first couple classes have been really hard. He's like, do you have any advice? He's like, well, honestly, I wanted to quit for the first year, but I just kept going 5 to 7 days a week. But I really sucked for the first 3 years, but I actually sucked for the first 5 years. And it was around seven,
Damn.
8 years that I got good. So it takes a minute.
That's amazing. I mean, that's I'm assuming that's a good thing to have. Not that I hopefully you never need to use like self-defense mechanisms and things like that. And I'm sure that like jujitsu is more than just doing that of a just in case moment. Like it's a sport, it's fun, right? And I'm sure I'm assuming it's pretty competitive, right? As
Yeah,
well.
it's awesome. Like once you find your main training partners, I'd say I've got a bunch of people, probably like 10 people I try to train with all the time, but there's 4 of us that were our main training partners. Today, for example, it's Friday open mat. So we just go upstairs. We set 5-minute rounds with no breaks. So it's 5-minute round, 5-minute round. Everybody just keeps rotating and just spars and fights the whole time. And no breaks in between. It's awesome. I love it. And I usually hijack it. Every single martial arts gym, and the viewers will agree with me if they train at one, every single martial arts gym has the worst tasted music. I remember the first time I ever went to jiu-jitsu school, and it's like, and this is great music, by the way, but it was a Bruno Mars love song while people are trying to strangle each other. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And even I've been to some of the greatest schools in like Australia, like there's one of the greatest schools there. It was just pop music. I'm like, what the hell is this? They just don't know. And I'm not saying it should be metal or metalcore or hardcore.
I'm telling
punk,
you,
but
it should be Trivium, just as a fact.
yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It should be something heavy, but at least something like it shouldn't be love songs because like, well, 2 dudes are embracing crotch to face. It shouldn't be love songs.
It's a very intense moment there. Have you like obviously I know you're still streaming all of that and congratulations, man. I got to say like
Thank you.
when it comes to streaming, I came in after you and I love how you're still like basically I would assume are you like the only OG
Man.
left of like the metal scene coming into Twitch streaming at this point?
Man, it must be. It has to be. I assume Herman's still active on Twitch.
Yes.
But I was
does.
like, maybe 2.5 years in when he hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, what's this Twitch thing all about?" I remember he called me during a stream. I was like, "I'll tell you what it's all about." And like, he's been crushing it ever since and really integrated into everything. But I remember right before the pandemic, like I was already set up, so I was like, "Okay, it's business as usual," and the viewership like 10x because everyone was home. And I saw a lot of musicians start to jump in. I was like, okay, when they're jumping in, who's going to stay in once
Yeah.
the world goes back to normal? Because I was like, it's going to go back, but who's going to stay in? And a lot of people didn't.
That's
But
assumption
you gotta
I
do it
made
for
too with that because like as like on the content creator side, I know a lot of content creators when it's good and popping, it's good. But too with musicians, like not only okay, viewership's going to just go down because people are leaving their house, but also hey, you can go on tour. And I know for a lot of musicians, this was it was fun for them, but more like well, what else am I gonna do? Fun
Yeah.
instead of like wow, I just really love streaming every day kind of fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to love it. You really do like to stick with it long. Cause I think I'm about almost 8 years in now streaming consistently on Twitch.
Wow.
Like I've never taken like more than a 2-week break ever. Not saying like
Wow.
I'm grinding it, like I'm burning myself out by any
Mm.
means. It's stuff I had to do anyway. And that's what I always tell newer streamers or newer musician streamers is probably this advice works the best. I'm always like, try to stack what your activities are. Like I have to practice guitar, I have to practice vocals. And within those two things, there's categories. I have to practice lead guitar within
Yep.
guitar and soloing and improv and writing. I also have to practice singing, screaming, singing, touring, screaming, album singing.
Jeez.
I have to do that anyway. Why not be entertained while I'm entertaining people? Why not have
Yeah.
people around for that? So I could be like, all right, well, you'll hear every vocal squeak, you'll hear every wrong thing, but you also
Mm.
hear good stuff and you'll see
Yeah.
an evolution. What's been really cool, because speaking of the evolution, I sang and screamed wrong for 15, 16 years, blew my voice out in 2014, started training correctly for 10 years. And it's really only been in the last, man, I want to say 2 or 3 months that I was encouraged by my three bandmates, my manager, my wife, and one of my longtime viewers in Twitch. He's actually the person that taught me how to mix, master, and engineer purely from Twitch chat. His name's Freezing Cathedral.
Wow.
I never knew how to mix, and I felt like a dodo. I was like, all these amazing producers and mixers I've worked with, I should have been paying attention. Then again, I was recording. I should have been learning from them. But he taught me everything about mixing from there, and I've been using those skills on the Deathgasm 2 soundtrack, video game scores, like
Wow.
from him teaching me from Twitch chat. So those 5 or 6 people, they were like, hey, this Ascendancy run, it would make a big difference if you really did the album way. And I was like, oh, I'm going to blow my voice out. It's going to go away. Because one of the things about proper training, I've met a lot of people as well who properly train, they baby the voice like crazy. And that's what I was doing too. I tried tours where I didn't talk on show days, where I didn't eat anything I wanted to do,
Right.
wouldn't exercise, just do nothing other than sing. And, I love that Paulo so much is the counterbalance to what I am in this band. And he's like, if you over baby it, it's going to mess up. He's like, you need to treat it a little bit more vigorously, or it's always going to be, if you handle your voice with kid gloves, it's just going to mess up.
Yeah.
And so there's a practice. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And I've been slowly in the last 2 or 3 months bringing back the exact same technique that I used to do when I was 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, but utilizing the strength and conditioning I've been doing from Ron Anderson's exercises, and it works. So now I could do that Trivium album scream 2 to 4 hours a day without any fatigue, no loss whatsoever. I can now do the super low, fun, guttural stuff. They're even better now than the song that we did together.
Oh,
Like, man, I wish I could go do them again. They're even lower now. And now I figured I get that high pig screech in there. And it's painless, absolutely painless.
Dude,
So
we
it's
can't. I
cool.
mean, there's so much I want to get, but like, yeah, tying into that, your vocals. The number one comment I heard at when we released the track again that we collabed with, me and Paula, and collabed with Matt on Fall Forever, was, damn, like, I guess Matt, like Nick and Paul are just featuring, because dude, your vocals, like, I've never seen so many comments in my life of people just going like, I didn't know Matt could do that. Like,
I loved reading those. I was so happy.
just straight up, just like, I didn't know Matt could do those noises. I saw some people thinking, like, because I do this stupid like guttural fun meme thing, thinking it was me. I was like, guys, no, that's not me, that's Matt. Like, that's Matt going all out on the vocals. And like, I love how that one came about too, because me and Paula just moved to Orlando. And dude, thank you again. Like, you've been so gracious as like the most welcoming person ever. Again, like, Matt has been like, yo, you're here, what do you need? Like, here's all the best spots. And dude, that's been amazing, especially like coming in, like, it's not like Canada's super different from America, but like, it's not the same. So like,
Definitely.
just being like, go here, this is the vibe, this is cool, and all that. And being able to hang out a bit too. But yeah, I remember talking with you way back when, and then also starting email. And I was sending you stuff because we were thinking about doing something else together. And I was just sending you like tracks that me and Paula did to show you this is what me and Paula do together. Because I know you might not have been as aware of like what we do together yet, or like what she does on her own even. I was like, so this is me plus Paula like producing and doing that. And funniest thing, I love that you listen to it and you're like, oh, dude, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm going to cook some vocals. And I sent you a mastered track. And me and Paula were just like, well, that, okay, like, this is awesome. I get, like, sure, like, the track's done, but I guess, like, let's see what happens and like figure it out. And I remember you cooked it and sent it to us. I was like, okay, yeah, this is insane, dude. And it was such a funny coincidence that just happened that time, because again, like, we got the masters from Buster all finished, and then you were like, dude, like, let's go, this is sick. And dude, I love your excitement too, because it made me so stoked. I was like,
Oh yes.
like, let's go. And yeah, just hearing you send those vocals over, dude, I was like, damn, man.
Thank you. Yeah, when I heard that song, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. This is so good. And instantly I heard the vocals that you hear. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have the words yet, but I heard the patterns right
Yeah.
away. I was like, I know what I want to do on this thing. I'm like, I know you don't need vocals. I know this is done, but hey, let's do vocals on this thing. And thank you so much for letting me kind of step in there because it was just, I just knew, I knew exactly because I've been following you for a long time. I was like, hey man, I think this will be perfect for what you do, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Dude, well,
And so it was really, I appreciate you letting me do that.
It was so fun because it was something that was like so like not really last minute because we took our time and made sure it was like exactly how we wanted it, right? But like it was like, oh, okay, let's go. Like it was very in the moment. And I love that we went with that. And again, hearing it and seeing the video too. And again, being introduced to Maria, the insane videographer. She's amazing. And
So
like,
great.
just putting it together and it being like this kind of cool, bigger thing. Because honestly, while me and Paul are rolling out the EP, you know, that probably just would have been like just a track. Like, here you go, like another song. And, you know, I love that when you joined in, we were able to make it like this much bigger like thing, have a full music video and just make it this epic moment. And also just again like the song, it's crazy because now I listen to the song instrumentally and it feels empty and I'm like fuck. I'm like damn dude, like yeah, Matt really elevated it and took it to the next level with
Thank
that.
you so much. Yeah, it's like it definitely proves. You know, I've been trying to dig into okay, what makes me tick? Who am I? Why am I the way I am? And I feel like everyone should do that. So like, I finally had to properly diagnose. I'm like, hey, what's going on with my brain? What is it?
Yeah.
ADHD, OCD, anxiety, which all lead to like, of course, like things. But those things help me a lot in life, and I've tried to look at them not as like I need to get rid of these because you never really can get rid of them. You could treat the extreme parts of it and try to work on it.
Yeah.
But the ADHD, like hearing that, I was like, oh my God, this is so incredible. And the OCD makes me complete the tasks. And
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's like this thing. It's just, I knew like hearing that, I know like I was reading the email, and like you said, we're originally doing something else. And I was like, this is so good. I have to think only about this right now. And this has to happen right now.
Paula
That's how good the
laughs
song
too at
was.
that. She's on the other side.
It speaks to how great the song is, man. And sometimes like that's the proof of great music, great songwriting, great musicianship. When I hear something, so if let's, I'm kind of pivoting to writing.
Yeah.
Like if I hear something and I'm not thinking about it, there's no pressure. That's kind of a situation like Trivium stuff, like Trivium and Ibaraki stuff. We never write anymore during writing time. We never say, "Hey, it's time to make a record. It's
yeah.
time to make a
That's
song."
too much pressure too. To
It
do
is.
that.
It's when riffs start showing up. It's the same thing. I heard your riffs and I was like, "Oh, vocals. I hear them. This just has to happen."
Right. Dude, I mean, and dude, you're so fast. I have like your schedule. Like, what is a like, what is okay? Like a regular Monday, like, cause you're a insane touring musician. You're a streamer too. You do collabs, and most importantly, you're a dad. Like, and like, how? Like, what is like? Do you have an insane calendar where every 20 minutes is planned? Like, how do you get that done?
If you really, so I'll run you through today.
Okay, today. Let's go.
I recently started doing a thing where, you know, Paula was encouraging me to read this incredible book. And the title really is minimizing to what it is. It's how to write better lyrics. It just sounds like a, you know.
Did he just come
like
up
one
to
of
you,
those-
no context, and be like, and just give you a how to write better
Hey,
lyrics?
what are you saying, man? But it's written by a Berkeley professor who's like always been an incredible lyricist. But one of the amazing things he took from it, and he said that he encouraged me to try, was this every 10 minutes, or excuse me, every morning for 10 minutes, object writing. Object writing can be about anything. The first object writing was actually this water bottle. So I wrote about this water bottle. You want to hit all the senses. Sight, like let's say see, hear, taste, smell, touch, but there's also two more. Organic sense, which would be someone breathing.
Okay.
Kinesthetic sense, like digestion, or if I were to pour this water, that's what the water's doing, it's spreading out. So hitting all 7 senses within these 10 minutes about any object in the world. What did I write about this morning? This morning, I can't remember, but we've had a Cuban tree frog infestation. I wrote about a Cuban tree frog one day. Anything,
Awesome.
But it's first thing you wake up. So I've been waking up an hour before my kids and my wife, waking up at 6. I go out to the living room, start doing object writing. Set a timer, 10 minutes, object write. As soon as that's done, I go outside. I start my vocal warm-ups. Start warming up outside with my little speaker as I set up my 2 yoga mats, my kettlebells, my steel mace, the foam rollers, the works. I start doing all the foam rolling stuff. I do my physical therapy for my back and my shoulder and any injuries I have. Then I lift weights. Protein shake. The family starts to get up. Ashley makes breakfast. I prep the house, prep the kids for school. She makes lunches. I kind of like pull the car out, get the ice boxes in the lunches and everything. We all have breakfast together as a family, take them to school. After school, I'm already warmed up at this point. I stop warming up when I start lifting weights, but I'm warming up during the whole warm-up process. So that hits about the first 30 to 40 minutes of warming up. We go to hot yoga together, which I've brought back into my life. I've been doing yoga since like 2010, but actually formally going to classes has been helpful. Come back, finish my vocal warm-ups, start the stream. I usually do see 30 to 45 to 60 minutes of Trivium requests. If there's some time afterwards, then hey, let's work on Deathgasm 2 for a minute. Let's work on Kunoichi the game for a minute. I show up to class a little bit late. I always get there about 12:15 for jiu-jitsu. I stay till about 1:30, do class, grapple, all that stuff, come home. We have lunch together, Ashley and I, and kind of chill. Like that's something I've integrated, actual chill time, because there wasn't chill time before. Before I'd go back into stream 2.
Right.
So I've gotten rid of stream 2, which is probably healthy. We watch TV and chill for a minute. Then we go get the kids from school. Mondays and Wednesdays, I take the kids to jiu-jitsu. I'm one of the kids teachers now at my school as well. So I teach the 5 to 13-year-olds with a couple of the professors. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have swim class. Friday, there's nothing. So Friday, we were swimming in the pool together. But I try to make sure of all this work that I've been doing, I definitely overstacked myself for a minute. So I started getting it to the healthy amount. Like I did a huge list. Here's everything that I just finished. Holy shit. I wrote all the stuff I've done in the last 2 years. I was like, that's not Trivium related. I was like, okay, this is insane. Yeah. So I've been pulling back on that healthily.
Yeah, because I was about to say there's probably points because, and dude, so much respect for the discipline. Oh my god, because people say, oh, like I consider myself busy, okay, but like that's a whole new level of like, damn, like
and this is much less than it was.
Yeah, like I bow to you for that.
Thanks,
as like
man.
I need to up my game. Like Jesus Christ, man. But like I'm assuming because they're so stacked, and I felt this on a lesser level sometimes when you're so stacked. You know, there's things that can happen, like, oh no, this went wrong.
Yep.
And then one thing goes wrong and it can mess up the whole day. Like, you know what I mean? Like this puts this down 30 minutes later. Now this is 30 minutes later. Oh no, now this, like everything is offset, and that can be so stressful, especially like with one thing next to another.
Yes, especially being, like I mentioned, the anxiety, OCD, ADHD, which I've had my whole life. I remember being like 5 years old and asking another friend, how do you go to sleep? And they're like, what do you mean?
Right.
I was like, I don't know how to go to sleep. And so as an adult, and I said recently diagnosed, so every Thursday, and I encourage everyone to do any level of this for themselves. It's so good for you. It's the same as working out. I think the most important thing for you to do is take care of your brain. Every Thursday, I have a standing appointment with my therapist. I do a therapy call for 30 to 60 minutes. Good days, bad days, terrible days, anything. Right. That's every single week. I recommend people at least once a month or once a quarter or whatever. Yeah. But it's so good for you to do that. So in addition to that, I do all the other things you're supposed to do. And I was finding myself overwhelmed. It was obviously, you know, with anxiety, what I'll do is I'll overstack tasks and jobs and to-do lists and all these things, and I'll do way too much stuff. Right. And then I'll just collapse underneath that.
That can be tough.
Ashley mentioned to me once, I told it to the guys, I was like, she said, she's a perfect quote. She's like, your rock bottom is so much the subterranean levels below other people's rock bottoms that I have to do that to learn a lesson sometimes. That's the finger.
You have to burn out so hard that there's nothing left to even burn, and you're just like, oh, okay. Yes.
So then I talked to a therapist, the therapist recommended psychiatrist. Psychiatrist said, hey, these are the formal things. So I was like, what is it? What makes me tick? Everybody's got different things. I'm not saying I'm using them as a crutch. Right. I'm not saying I'm looking for a cure, because, you know, these are things that make us who we are. And sometimes I wonder, are these kind of superpowers when people have their own little mental things? So I have recently introduced, because I'm low on serotonin in my brain, I've reintroduced selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, just a little bit of medication to help me out in the last couple months, and it has helped me a lot. So when you were mentioning schedule, for example, 4 months ago when I wasn't taking this and not doing the things that were help for my mind, and this isn't for everybody. Some people don't need this. Some people legitimately do. So it was legitimately prescribed from a psychiatrist. It has been helping a lot. But typically when a day would get derailed, I would freak out. Like I would truly, I would spiral, anger, sadness, fear, all these things. I would crumble. Oh, yeah. So thankfully now I've become a lot more adaptable. I was like, wow, is this what everyone else feels like? Is this what people normally feel like? So I've had 38 years of like, hey man, when something's going wrong, but I never externally explode. You know, I don't do that in front of people. I don't do that on socials. I don't do that anywhere, but it'd be internal. It would just be this heaping mess. I mean, when we first started blowing up in the UK, that was the only place that I ever liked us when I was 18. I had massive crippling social anxiety disorder. I never wanted anyone to see me who knew who I was. That was my biggest fear. Wow. And here we are in the first country that loves us. So all these people want to meet us, and I didn't want to meet anybody, not because I was a dick, but because it was terrifying to me.
No one in chat knows who you are, Matt, by the way, just for sure.
Hi, I'm Matt. So it was terrifying, but I had to get over that from immersion therapy. Like you're just in it. So that went away. I used to have very bad OCD. If my pillow from the bus touched the floor once, that pillow was done. I would never use it again.
Wow.
Obviously, jiu-jitsu, you got people's feet in your face. I had a
Yeah.
guy's fingernail take out a chunk of my cornea that I sent you that
Yeah.
picture too.
Yup.
Oversharing is also a thing of people with
Yeah,
ADHD
you're
because it gives
fun.
them a serotonin hit.
Yeah.
It gives them a dopamine hit. So I started learning more and more about like beyond just who am I, but how is my brain chemically working?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's all a learning
Yeah.
process,
Well,
and,
'cause it's
I
hard to
encourage
take
it.
that all in yourself. And then I'm sure also when you're in that mindset, you might even be similar. Like the first thing I do is blame myself. Like, I'm very
Always.
like, this didn't work out. Everything turned out late today. Today kind of just sucked. And now and again, a lot of people, the first thing I do is blame other external factors. But like, I think you're probably similar to me. Like, I just blame myself. And then you make yourself feel even worse about the things that
Absolutely.
happened during that day.
Absolutely. That self-deprecating Japanese too hard on yourself thing, that's
Mm.
been cooked in the cake forever. My dad's a Marine, so I was raised by a Marine and a Japanese person. So it's like,
Yeah.
you have to deliver and there's no you never stop.
Yeah, I love
But
musicians that will watch this and they're just like, dude, I was playing COD 10 hours today. So like, like, cause that's what I get. And I look, respect to the music scene, respect to music industry and the YouTube scene too. Like over 10 years of me doing this too, like I met so many different types of people, and some people, they'll always be like, I'm busy, I'll get to it and get to it. Even extremely talented people, even very notable people, famous, huge following, all of that, huge bands. And they'll, like, yeah, okay, everyone's busy. And it's so funny because then I meet someone, like you, and they're like, no, that's busy. Matt is busy. Like, that's a level
you.
of busy, man.
I appreciate you seeing me, man. It really does mean a lot because
Yeah.
it was tough. I was talking about the 18-year-old social anxiety thing. So like that was a bit of it. But then what was nuts, and I'm glad we're out of this era and no bands. I've talked to all these amazing young bands that we're bringing out on tour, bands we talk to, bands we get to know, bands we try to support. We were coming out of that era where it was like dangerous to open up for certain bands, where bands
right.
got bullied. I used to get bullied by some of bands that I grew up with, their posters on my walls. I remember there was a show I had once, my voice squeaked. I had to walk through their dressing room to go to our dressing room. They're all making that squeak at my face, pointing at me, cracking up. I'm like 18, 19 years old.
Oh,
Like I said, growing up, loving this band. I won't quote them. I won't say which band it was. Stuff like that. I remember seeing a live review once of one of my other favorite bands. I used to buy their VHSs off eBay.
Right.
And their singer in a live review was saying something like, I don't want to see a Trivium shirt in my show. Someone get him my band shirt.
Jeez.
And that was in the live review, which was crazy. It's because we were, a bunch of 18-year-olds that had nothing. And all of a sudden, one country, we explode. And they didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that we're 18 years old saying, hey, we're going to be the next biggest band in metal. Where nowadays, I feel a band says that, people are like, hell yes, set your goals high. I want to see it happen.
It's more
But we come
supportive.
from a time that it was much harder. I remember we were opening, it was Children of Bodom, Trivium, Amon Amarth actually opening. One of the first times we played San Francisco at Slim's.
Yeah.
Our entire set, the crowd was booing us and spitting on us. The entire set.
God.
Another tour, our first tour in Canada. Dillinger Escape Plan, The End, Red, Yellow, Trivium, First of Four. I don't remember it was Toronto, but when we were on,
It's probably
it was
Toronto
like
if they were mean, dude. I'm going to be
maybe
honest.
there was like a square dance floor. The entire crowd stayed away from that, standing on the edge of the bar, all with their backs turned to us and their arms crossed. Our entire set. Yeah, it was nuts. It was a different time, man. And I'm not saying woe was me here. I'm not saying like I wish it didn't happen. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it doesn't happen anymore. But these things were like, maybe it kind of led to some of the anxiety later in life.
Yeah.
Maybe it was already baked into the cake. Maybe that already was who I was on the way up.
But you see, it
But
seems like stuff like that for you, it seems to fuel you more than anything. For a lot of people, it
Perhaps.
probably brings them down. But for you, you probably use that as like oh, okay, you guys are all kind of being dicks. Well, I'm going to use that and I'm going to show you why you're going to have to see my face probably, and see my band. And that's something that it's so powerful, and that it just depends who gets on the other end of that, because some people will crumble and that's it. They're done. They'll want to be in the shell forever and never want to get out. And like, again, it's tough, man. Are you kidding? Yeah. That's insane.
It was weird, man. But it drove all of us closer in the band. The ones that were, in the time, the lineup at the time. Now our lineup now is better than ever and healthier than ever. But that's why we're so close.
Yeah.
I've had other bands go like, man, every time I see you, Trivium guys are all together. Like, well, what's that all about? I'm like,
it's a band.
If I got to be away from my family, I need to be with people I love.
You got to be with your
every
second
single person on
family,
our bus.
then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for that. Holy cow. I mean, we're reaching, I think it's 26, 27 years now I've been in the band. Next year, I joined 12 and a half, 1999. I can't do math, contrary to my Asianness. But it's, maybe it's the half. And
Well,
actually, two of the lines I was thinking of when you're saying about like that stuff happening, I was thinking of Cartman, like "Screw you guys, I'm going home," and I was thinking
right,
Wedding Singer. Well, I have the microphone, so you have to listen to every word I say. So yeah,
dude.
it did give us a bit of that, and I think that's why too. Like I would even rebel against ourselves. Ascendancy widely successful, and for the next record, we probably could have or should have done Ascendancy 2.0, but instead I said, let's rebel against everything we just did and do nothing the same. No
Yeah,
screaming, no double bass, no breakdowns. Tune up. Let's play standard again. So it's,
right.
maybe that kind of like, but I think that was good. I think it was good that we did that because from records 1 through 7, you never knew what you're going to get.
Yeah,
And
it
now
was.
there's like an established thing.
And especially nowadays, like the luckily bands being brought up now, like the scene is so like genre fluid, kind of where like it's not as scary as if you start even in the more extreme like deathcore scene. Like if you start doing cleans, it's not like yo, what is happening?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
more
Even
like
like 10 years ago, people
yeah,
would freak out. Now everyone's really into it, which I love. I think it's incredible. It's given
mhm,
so many bands that you would never think 10, 15 years ago could blow up the way they've been blowing up, who've been absolutely killing it. And it makes me so happy. Like it makes me so happy to see legitimate heavy bands, people who love to play heavy music, play something that's not being fed, rammed down our throats of what we should sound like.
mhm.
And they're doing it and they're doing what they love. And it's such a great time for heavy music. It
Yeah.
truly is. I'm so
Do you
happy.
have any go-tos? Because I know you listen to a lot of music and a lot of modern stuff
A
too, which
lot.
is sick. Do you have any like shout outs to a few bands that are just like it's a small, medium size nowadays that you like look at you're looking
Yeah.
at, you're like, damn, like they
I'm
are
so
doing things.
lucky that Jose gave me my own show on Sirius because
Mhm.
all I do is play bands I love and
That's
play like my
awesome.
friends' bands and play cool bands and play heavy stuff. But I played you nonstop on there.
That's
Let's
way too
just go
kind, thank you.
to. I'll think of the top ones that are
Yeah,
pals of mine first, and I'll just kind of read
go
through some
for it.
peppering in cool names. Fit for an Autopsy is a band that when
Hell
Heads
yeah.
Will Hang came out, Corey got me into them. I think they're one
Nice.
of the greatest bands on the planet. Orbit Culture, one of the greatest bands on the planet. I think
Mhm.
that they're just so marvelous, wonderful people.
Mhm.
Bleed from Within. I mean, okay, so we'll start getting stuff.
Hell
The
yeah.
new Hatriot song is awesome. I have a lot of Hans. If you've ever heard of Hans Zimmer, everybody, no, just
Oh,
kidding.
have
Hans
you?
Zimmer, I put on my show because he just freaking rules. Alluvial, Aborted, Disbelief just came out with the song. Disbelief was a big influence on the Ascendancy record, actually.
Oh, okay.
Extinction AD rules. There's a new,
Extinction.
I guess, Origin. We all know Origin very well. Job for Cowboy being back. Ingested,
Yep.
Ill Disposed, Darkest Hours back. Feared rules. Night
Yep.
Rage is back. Bass from Denmark's incredible. The new Nile, and plus that song title is tremendously huge.
Yeah.
Alt ALLT
Yeah.
from Sweden is amazing.
Yes. Thal, dude. Let's go.
Tribulation.
Buster Core.
Yeah, hell yeah. The new Tribulation is amazing. Let's try to find some newer bands in here. Um,
That's a lot.
there's some episodes I'll put in like Carpenter Brood, Perturbator, Rodrigo Gabriella.
Hmm.
Hate Complex from Australia is awesome. Hollowed Existence, I believe they're from Wales, is awesome.
Hell yeah.
There's so many.
There's-
Yeah, so someone goes on my Spotify, you can see everything I've been playing. Ryujin, the Japanese band that I briefly was an interim manager, producer for them, co-songwriter, Downfall of Mankind from Portugal, same situation, and Dying Alone from Norway, same situation. There was a minute where I was managing bands.
Oh wow.
it was one of those minutes it almost broke me. And I told each
Dude,
band, I was
yeah.
like, listen, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna get you started. I'm gonna find you a management company. So I got them signed, management, touring, all that stuff. And I was like, there you go.
You probably
guys
did
are on your
in that minimal time. You probably did more than most managers actually do.
maybe,
To be
maybe,
honest, man.
maybe. Yeah. And I hit my manager up afterwards. I was like, you're a saint, man. I don't know how you've been putting up with us and all these bands for all these years. And he always says, hey, you guys are one of the easier ones to work with, which is cool.
Well,
but
you
those three
mentioned-
bands, it was a blast.
We
and
have to
Frozen
talk-
Soul, of course. Freaking one of the best death metal bands in the world.
You mentioned obviously influence even on Ascendancy. We have to talk about Ascendancy. I mean, Ascendancy.
Hell yes, please.
The Poisoned Ascendancy tour. Now, I had Matt on the show. I had the other Matt on the show to talk about the tour. Give me your back end and background on the Trivium side of how this came to be and how every metalcore kid that grew up in the 2000s is the happiest person ever to see some 5/7/8s live with third harmonies. Like, how did this all come to
Hell
be?
yes. I'll preface it with we're talking about mental health and all this stuff earlier, and there was a thing I would say to my guys a lot. It was on the Silence of the Snow record. We were obviously through 3 studio drummers, a fourth with the touring drummers. We hadn't found Alex yet, and it was the 15th year of anniversary of Ascendancy. And I was just saying, I remember saying to an interviewer and to the guys, man, I wish I could have lived that a little better. I wish I was more present for that. I wish I was more in the moment during it because it was such a whirlwind. We were a local band in Florida from 12 and a half to 18. All of a sudden, we're on a half major label, half indie label, touring a place that they love us, the crippling social anxiety disorder with this thing happening from favorite bands.
Right.
but people love us. But I'm so in my own head of just I'm in the current of this. I'm going with this. So I didn't really get to fully live in the moment. And I don't know how many times this happens in one's lifetime, but I get to relive this now.
That's
I
it.
get to actually formally all next year across the entire planet relive this tour where everything is so muscle memory ingrained. I don't have to think, do I know the material? Do I know the lyrics? Do I know how to play these songs? Everything is cooked into me.
Yeah.
So much so, especially with that record, because we've been playing that record for our entire career.
And you've been practicing it nonstop on Twitch, like every day.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Even when I'm driving, I always talking about stacking activities. I don't like to just drive and listen to music. I need to make sure I'm practicing my vocals at the same time or listen to something that's going to benefit my brain. Jesus. Or if I'm like going through the airport, I like my backpack even heavier. So that way I'm like actually exercising too at the same time. I like to multitask. You make
the airport experience more miserable.
Difficult. Yeah, I do. I'm a sicko. Yes. So I get to relive this thing that I've said for the last 5 years. Oh my gosh. You know, I remember doing this record. I forget doing this record. I forgot this tour. I remember we were presented with gold awards on stage at the double night sold out Astoria, presented with it. We go upstairs and we're all fighting. I won't say why. I won't go into that kind of stuff, but just showing like that it wasn't dialed in. And now we get to go on a world tour with another one of our favorite bands in the world. We've always said, hey, we need to tour with Bullet. And we've done a couple dates here and there. We've never gotten to get close to the guys, but I've always loved the Poison. Came out right around the same time. It's funny, that time in the UK, 2005 to 2007. You go to any magazine store or you pick up any magazine, it's either Trivium on the cover with Bullet special feature or Bullet on the cover, Trivium special feature. Like no joke. It was all of the magazines, every award show, every festival's Trivium and Bullet. And we would always say, hey, we should tour together. And then we got hit up from Bullet's management. They're like, hey, we should do something with Trivium and Bullet together. We heard that. We said, absolutely, of course. Yes, let's do this. And we said, what if we do the Ascendancy Poison thing? And originally we were talking about like 3 to 5 songs a piece, kind of tops. We hung out at the Hard Rock Orlando show where they had me do Tears. And Tuck and I both said to each other, let's do the full record. Because what it was, my wife had just went to her favorite band's tour. It was the Death Cab for Cutie Postal Service 20-year anniversary tour, where both Death Cab and Postal Service did this. I love both bands a lot. I think both bands are some of the greatest indie bands in the world. But what's crazy that in LA, they normally do 5 to 7 to 10,000 tickets, which is a lot. But for this run, they did like 63,000 tickets in LA because they did so many nights at the same place. 63,000 tickets compared to their normal 5 to 10.
Right.
So it's like a 1 + 1 = 5 scenario. 1 + 1, Trivium plus Bullet = 3. Trivium doing Ascendancy, Bullet and the Poison is 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's going to be, it already is massive. I mean, the fact we're playing like the Madison Square Garden of London, the whole UK is almost sold out. Germany is almost sold out. Europe's flying out the door, and we haven't announced North America yet. Australia, Southeast Asia, South America, and who else knows where else we need to go? So it's gonna be be incredible.
People. That's you out there. You let them know.
Come on down, Brazil, baby.
We come to Brazil. Paula's like, yeah.
Bom dia,
I'm in America now, but come to Brazil.
Yep, Brazil's gonna be good, man. I'm curious to see who the best is of our entire career. The top 2 greatest shows we've ever had was Buenos Aires, Argentina 2 years ago. And the other time was Buenos Aires 2012.
Oh, wow. Rest
Places
of the
have
world
come close, but those
better.
2, that's 1 and 2. That's number 1 and number 2. The greatest ever of our entire career.
That's
insane. So let's see who's going to step it up and beat them.
Yeah. Do you have a song? That's because I'm sure from that catalog, even from Ascendancy, you guys have played probably, I mean, the hits, but probably some of your favorite tracks too from there throughout the years anyways.
We've played all of them, yep.
Yeah. Is there one particular song that maybe hasn't gotten as much like live love that you are like really excited to see from
Look at the list. We hit them all pretty equally, which is awesome. Like I'm very, very happy that like our supporters love the entire record so much. Obviously for the Bullet Trivium run, there won't be time to do the special edition. But if we have any one-offs, if we have any warm-up shows, we have any festivals, we could do the other bonuses as well, because we used to do those back in 2005. Washing Me Away in the Tides, which is a 6 song, and Blinding Tears Will Break the Skies, also a 6 song.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to being able to do Departure and Declaration. Those are 2 of my favorite tracks. They're at the end of it. Declaration, it's almost like Emperor riffs from Curse You All Men style. Departure is super cool. We have an acoustic setup, so it's not just acoustic, it's acoustic running into that Fishman. Shoot, I forgot the name, but they've got this incredible acoustic processor where it mixes in your live acoustic sound and an emulation of any acoustic sound you want. So it sounds like studio acoustics that will be used in live. Those 2 are going to be amazing.
Okay.
And the fact that I have been able to, because when we first announced this tour, I was like, all right, I'm going to be doing that Ibaraki live style screaming that I do. And I call it the Ibaraki style because what I do on the Ibaraki record, it was effortless, painless. I could do it all day long. It's what I've been doing live for the last 10 years. So I was like, man, it'd be cool to be able to do that the old style. And now that I could do that again, it's like, man, this is going to be a perfect tour. And oh man, the stage is going to be great. I don't want to spoil it, but there's something really cool for the stage.
There's something
really
happening.
Cool.
And is there, on the Trivium front, you guys are doing stuff, whatever. Is there anything you can share to the peoples of whatever Trivium is? Do you guys had your last in 2020? Oh my god, the expansion pack.
Oh, man, I'm not even sure.
I think it's 2022, right?
Is it?
Is it 21?
Well, we did two kind of back to back, like during the pandemic, which was kind of nuts. 2021, holy cow, that was a while ago for us.
21, you guys released the Dragon?
21 was Dragon and 20 was Deadman, so they're kind of back to back almost, which is nuts. And what's cool for us is like I've always loved the Trivium, with at least with people that like us. It always used to be this toss-up argument between, hey, is Ascendancy the best? Is In Wave the best? Is Shogun the best?
Right.
And now I feel like the later three also have that same kind of thing.
Yes.
And we've been meeting people, like we'll have kind of that, I like to call it the Iron Maiden effect. This last UK run we did was like the 15-year anniversary of Shogun. So we're doing like a mini Shogun run.
Yeah.
And we meet people that were at the Ascendancy run, and then they've got like their 5 to 8-year-old kids with them as well, who just got onto us on Sin, maybe.
Wow.
Or maybe even after that, because they're that old. So you see like 3 generations. I remember playing in Stoke-on-Trent in England. We saw a family that was 3 generations.
Okay.
Grandpa, grandma, mom and dad, and the kids were all there together, all wearing Trivium shirts. Like, oh, this is such a good time. This is such a good time. So yeah, the last one was 2021, which is nuts. Yeah. And we weren't able to do like a proper press tour on that one. So we just kind of came out and did that. But the one thing I'm always good with, I give everybody everything. Like, hey, here's how weird my toes look. And everyone always says really creepy stuff when I show them my feet. I'm not trying to make it weird. And I'm making it weird. I'm sure your chat's getting really weird right now. It's like I posted, I was like, hey, look how bad my toes are from jiu-jitsu.
They're fine.
Again, selling that badly too. People are like, oh, for free?
For free, bro?
Yes. So I always like to give everything on those. And I'm always very honest. I show this stuff. I don't stream jiu-jitsu anymore because also comment sections, even on my own channels, would just not good. I cannot stream jiu-jitsu anymore.
Okay, I got you.
It was just all like I had to block it. I had to like kick every single comment because it was so bad.
Yeah.
Because like, what's he doing to him? I don't know what he's doing to him, but I digress. So I always give everything honestly, but with Trivium, it's always been fun. We always keep that close to the chest. So Trivium is currently only rehearsing Ascendancy songs at the hangar. The hangar studio is being built. It's gonna be one of the best studios on the southern East coast, I believe. It's the same guy who spec'd out and built Andy Sneap's studio, who's one of the greatest mixer masters, the engineers of all time. Same guy. He's building our studio. The studio's insane. So we have a studio there. We'll have the works at the hangar. Life is good. We're all just enjoying time with the kids. My son likes wrist locks. So he's in kids jiu-jitsu. And there's certain subs you can't do till you're 16. There's certain subs you can't do till certain belts.
Makes sense.
He discovered a wrist lock. And a wrist lock is just bending the wrist this way till it breaks, basically, or someone taps.
Okay.
But man, it's so painful. Like he's really strong. My son and daughter are really funny. My daughter's super flexible, great sense of pitch. My son's sense of rhythm is amazing. He's really strong. I've never seen like a 5.5-year-old go, hey dad, look at me, he'll flex. And he's cut. His lats are sticking out. Because what he'll do, he'll like take his shirt off, no shoes, just wear shorts. He'll climb bamboo. We have bamboo in our backyard. He'll climb up like 16 feet with nothing. No safety harnesses, nothing. I didn't do this stuff as a kid. I recently found out as a kid.
Right.
You know, my mom was from Japan, so kind of immigrated over here. My dad was still in the service.
Yeah.
And I played video games. I played video games, so I played guitar. And then I played guitar and video games. And it didn't do anything else. I didn't do sports. I didn't hang out. I just did those two things. So that's why I think I got so injured getting into yoga and then jiu-jitsu later in life. But I feel like the shell has been hardening up. But this dude climbing freaking 16 feet up in the air. And at first, you know, when we first had kids, I was so paranoid that they would get hurt. Or man, they're really tiny. I'll drop them. They're gonna break. But I found that just letting them run barefoot, like they can sprint across rocks barefoot. Like I've seen adults who like kind of like hobble on the rocks in our backyard. Hearing me, they can sprint through it, jump up on trees, climb them, live in nature, live in dirt. It's been awesome. So I'm really very, very happy they could do that. But yeah, so he'll wrist lock me and he'll do like foot locks you can't really do, specific foot locks you can't do or ever do in some schools, but he'll try to heel hook me and it hurts. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool, man. It's been really, really fun. It's been a great time home.
That's amazing.
I've loved just being able to like learn a lot about myself through my kids. Even like they're
Of
both a
course.
little bit of me and Ashley. I feel like Mia looks like me, but she acts just like Ashley, and
Gotcha.
Akira looks like Ashley but acts exactly like me. I mean, the same things. Like if something doesn't go to plan, he shuts down, gets angry.
Yeah.
Anytime he goes somewhere, he has way too much stuff. Like I'm the running joke. Ask anyone from our bus, any of our crew or band,
Right.
hey, who has too much stuff on tour? It's always me.
Yeah.
So
Because then
yeah,
you can't forget something if you have it all.
yeah, but I always have everything everyone needs. Someone's got a specific kind of headache or stomach ache. I've got it. I always have a
Isn't
tourniquet
that
on
the
me.
thing when everyone says, "Oh, you have too much stuff," but then they
I
need
have
something.
everything.
Then
Everything
they're
they
like,
need.
"Hey."
I always have it. I always have at least 2 tourniquets on me. I always have at least like 3 first aid kits on me. I'm good to go. Like
You're
I've
good to go. Matt, I know it's been a minute. You're a busy dude. I have to ask because I'm gonna ask everybody this. Who's the Linkin Park vocalist? Who do you think, man? We got to ask everybody. Guesses.
Chester he was an absolute freak of nature vocally. Like
I
there's
know, yeah,
almost
goated.
no one that can fill those shoes.
It's
Damn, I'd have to think about it. It's gonna have to be like a Queen situation. You know, like Queen had to get Adam Lambert. You need someone with like, I'm not saying Adam Lambert, but you need someone with like that kind of. He's the Queen and Linkin Park.
That's my
And
pick
both.
now. We've been like doing
Yeah,
a whole
he's in
conspiracy
both.
theory, like for like nonstop 3 days on Twitch. Just like, who is it? What's going on here? What's all the messages?
I've seen
being?
people like pick like people in rock and pop punk and metal and stuff. It's like, man, I don't even know if they've got the chops for it.
Yeah.
Like you need someone with like this wouldn't work at all either, but someone with the range of Bruce Dickinson. Then again, imagine Bruce Dickinson singing singing Linkin Park. That would also be nuts. I don't know.
Let's
It'd
do
have
Adam
to be-
Lambert. I'm locking that in now.
Yeah. Can you imagine being in Queen and Linkin Park at the same time?
I don't.
It has to be someone with a range like that.
And a question that I've always asked everyone, and I have to ask: do you throw block?
Is that like a Ligma, Sigma, Fugma?
No, it's a throw. So there's a block. You know, now I had this is the original thing. I had Clown from Slipknot on the show. We were talking about Minecraft, his Minecraft server, and he said the best. And I will always give him credit for it because he said it. And it's my favorite catchphrase ever. He's like, "I'm gonna go throw block with the boys." Like, play Minecraft. So do you throw?
Okay,
block?
that reminds me of a couple of things. This reminds me of the press conference with Bullet, and everyone's being very serious. And the writer of Metal Hammer UK, who's a good buddy of mine, Matt,
Right.
he was like, "Are you very?" He asked this well-raised question. Are you very excited to play these 2 CDs?
Yeah.
And Matt Tuck was about to answer. I go, "Just CDs nuts!" And then everyone that's a Trivium fan starts laughing, and Bullet's like, "What the fuck?" So you can see the clip of that. Reminded me of that. And shoot, what was the other thing it reminded me of? Oh, we had this bass player briefly. It was before Ascendancy, actually. It was when we were doing 2004. I can't remember what tour it was, but he would always call it, pardon my language, children, self-gratification. He would call it throwing a batch.
Yeah, no, it's
Remember
it's Minecraft. Matt, it is Minecraft.
So when he said throwing block, I was like, what does this mean? That's what it made me think. And yes. So I have not played that yet. My son wants to play Minecraft.
Okay.
They gotta get their reading down. So once he gets that, it looks like the kind of game I'd like. Because I used to play Fortnite a lot. I actually competed in a Fortnite competition against Ninja and Dr. Lupo, and Ninja actually killed me. And there was a clip on the replays of Twitch Rivals of Ninja saying, "I'm gonna fart bomb these kids," and I was the kid that he fart bombed. So I used to be a sick Fortnite player back in my day. I used to play with Dakotas on Twitch. Yeah.
I did. Man, I'm gonna be on. I could talk with you for days at a time. I'd love to have you back, but I don't think today it could get better than Ninja fart bombed me, and we're
There's a clip of it too. I posted all over years ago. I gotta find it. But yeah, it was really good. I said, I'm gonna fart bomb these
Let's
kids.
get close for Matt Heafy of Trivium and Ibaraki, the man, the myth, the legend. Go show the homies the love. Check out the Poison Descendancy tour. Also check out the cool collab we did if you want. And show Matt the love. Follow him on Twitch and all. Matt, you're a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come hang. And I hope
I'd love to chat to you more, man. Thank you so much, dude.
See ya.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Later.